To work in the mornings, I walk the other direction past a sign commemorating Joshua Glover, a runaway slave from near St. Louis, maybe where Ferguson is now. The Fugitive Slave Act imprisoned Joshua up in Milwaukee, but protesters broke down the jail's door. Protesters broke down the jail's door so that Joshua could escape to Canada on the Underground Railroad. Looking back at your life, wouldn't you like to say, I got involved? Rose up to be counted among the righteous, to watch the movie of history and say, that's us. Instead, you go to the shopping mall, you're at the ice skating rink, or on your drive home when we disrupt your passive participation. Instead, you type doubts into your telephone. You must think. The jail's doors swung wide, and Joshua walked out. Free, you must think movements are birthed without blood, which is not to say we want anything to snap, but those chains, which is to say there are those who texted the rewrite of history's highway when we marched across it into a trap. Thanks everybody for having me in Racine. I haven't read here before except in the prison a couple of times. So that poem I just recited was one of the poems that I did in the prison. Nick and a bunch of us went and did a reading with their poetry group. And then back in December, Dasha Kelly, who's a great Milwaukee poet, and a bunch of Milwaukee and Racine poets came to do a reading here. I usually have a podium, so I've memorized some of my poems, but I haven't memorized the order that they're in. So I'm going to keep going back there. So this next poem was inspired by Dorothy Allison's book, Bastard, out of Carolina, which I'm sure many of you have read. It's a really important novel that I think everybody should read. Oh, I am so chock full of every gruesome splotch in this winter Midwest beach. Different iterations, days swinging by as we fly into the open lake. She is my foggiest memory. Nobody meant to heap this on their plate. The head of a song smashed against the outside of a door, the brunt of its force, stone monuments in our stomachs. We publish our mistakes, defiant every movement. We make stains on the page. So earlier today, I was practicing my poems on my bicycle, and then it started raining, and it's been a long time since I've been riding on my bicycle and have gotten completely drenched, which is a good thing to do once in a while. It's felt like I had had a large cup of coffee when I got home. I was like, completely soaked. But I started this poem, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't be reciting this on my bicycle, and I guess you'll figure out why. A car hit one girl as she rode her bicycle. Another boy stood up to a wall, and he fell. We are noisy weights like blacksmiths, the truth heavy like being thrown in. I dream about lions, I dream about wolves pulling out of the bars, gravel, parking lot, leaving the city, moving away. I see a skunk almost get hit by a taxi, and she shrieks, but she doesn't cower like me. My dad's in the audience today. He has this funny look on his face. I don't know what that means. Okay, here's another poem. Never, never, never. cousin and I find the body of a bat near the old church, demolition stones walking home. My cousin and I listen to a radio show about butchering. We eat venison and white rice, shrimp sauteed with so much butter. The butcher reads a story about how she eats less meat. The plane in the ocean is scaring me. Have they found it yet? We dream of airplanes filling with water. Don't look. I wanted to touch the dead bat, like it was made of plastic. I wasn't afraid of the dead bat, like other small wings. When something you rarely know passes, the reminders fly in. A bystander asks, "Are you writing down everything we're saying?" Barely this. So, we're all Midwesterners here, right? To some extent. So I hope you'll appreciate this next one. Would you be happier paying $1,000 a month for a closet apartment and eating dried beans in a stranger's city? These are the questions I'm asking these days. Why are all these graphic designers moving to 35th Street, 32nd Street, 30th Street in my city? The last bartender I met said that my neighborhood of origin is a bad one. He said this 2 blocks from the east side apartment I live in now, which is good. Last year, a musician asked if I grew up in the ghetto or the good part. I said neither. What should I have said? How do you explain when all you wanted to do is leave this city? How do you also stay proud? This month, all the snow has melted along the freeway, and you can see a winter's worth of plastic bags caught in bushes, blowing like flags of the houses demolished to drive there. A long time ago, I met a student from New York City who seemed older than everyone else. Our conversation ended when he said that I could never make it in New York. I hadn't even said I wanted to try. It was puzzling. We were 16. Did he think he had made it by being born somewhere special? But I felt satisfied in my jealousy and its opposite when I found a poet whom I realized wouldn't be able to make it in Milwaukee. We just wouldn't be able to stoke his ego with local competition. We're just not that important. We are neighborhoods described in different ways. We are too many questions at the Q&A. We are dirty snow, a tough crowd. It's just like any place else. I have 2 more poems for you. Is that good? Cool. I'm what they call an emerging poet, which means I haven't managed to publish a book yet, but I do have zines for sale.
How much are they?
They're only $3.
Only $3?
I mean, really. Big name. Certain kinds of writers say that the book works its way up. Not you, but I know there is no real way to dig but through. A writer tells us to say, I'm working on a book. I wonder how that feels. I'm obsessed with this parallel person who wouldn't still have 6 messy piles of old crossed papers and nothing up on our short orange walls. Everyone has a book in them, someone else says. Somewhere, I guess, but most of these weeks swallow down like a quick, late lunch before I remember. I still have to dig out my name with my hands. This parallel person, she knows when to fight to the nail. She grows steel paws to dig stones beneath our days, already wolfed down. So this is the last poem I'm going to do. Thanks again, Nick, for inviting me to do this. And I hope to be back for future bonks. This poem's called The Union. And it was inspired by a bumper sticker that said Machinists for Obama. And for some reason I found that humorous because it was so specific. So then I thought, what if there was like a Poets for Obama bumper sticker that inspired this poem? The Union. I'm gonna put this back. And somewhere a poet starts building a room. 2 cats sunbathe in the scrappy old yard where the poet has taken her axe to the logs. Each hour splits as the poet hones her blade. And every time the poet splits herself here, the yard's edge opens to the dark of the room. The poet accepts the only choice. The lazy cats run away. Have you built a dark room without nails or blueprints? Have you abandoned the lot that they told you to build? What is as irresistible as the pull of a stump? The poet sits down alone. The poet pays her dues. Thank you.